guys, welcome to Wedding Wednesday. My name is Liz and I am the person behind Grace and Maura. I am about 2 weeks out from my wedding and I have been DIYing like crazy. It has been a huge money saver for us, and one of the biggest ways that we have saved money is to not hire a florist. And I've said this in the past with some videos, nothing against florists. They deserve every penny they get, and I can certainly tell you from doing the DIY myself, but it just wasn't in our budget. That being said, we didn't want to compromise having a beautiful wedding, having centerpieces and bouquets and things like that. So I had to find a way to DIY them. A few weeks ago, I did a video on how to do your own bridesmaid's bouquet. I will link that for you if you want to go check that out. But today I'm working on centerpieces. The centerpiece that I'm creating today looks like this. It's a low mercury glass round cylinder with some muted florals, more neutral florals, and I have an Art Deco theme, so I did a feather in it. This whole centerpiece cost me under $20, like way under $20. And I will tell you how I was able to achieve that. It's really about patience, shopping sales, and utilizing resources that you have. So I'll share with you how I was able to do that for so affordable a price. This centerpiece actually doesn't require a lot of stuff, which is really nice, and they go together really quick once you get in your rhythm. So I'm gonna show you how I broke it down and how I was able to put them all together in, I think I did 11 centerpieces in like an hour. And that included breaking down all the flowers and things like that. So let me share with you what you need. I'll share with you how to put it together, and hopefully it'll just give you a little inspiration if you have an event. It doesn't have to be a wedding, but something like that coming up that you can do. You will notice I am on my couch. I'm not in a craft studio or my office or anything like that, because I feel like this is where I put them together. I was watching TV while I did it, and I think for a lot of people, if you're DIYing things, you're probably doing it in your living room. So I wanted to be a little more realistic about the space you need. So let me go grab the supplies. I'm going to show you what you need, and without further ado, let's make some centerpieces. Okay, so we're ready to put the vases together, and again, this is what we're making. So my wedding is Art Deco themed, so I did a feather. I went with more neutral flowers. The venue itself has a lot of, it's a restaurant, so it's already decorated and it's absolutely beautiful. I don't want to take away from that. So just kind of went with some neutral flowers, and to kind of go with the Art Deco theme at Gatsby, I went with a gold mercury vase. Okay, so let me tell you what you need, because it's not a lot. First of all, you need a vessel of some kind. You need a vase. Here's a little tip. My dad is a landscaper, and because of that, he belongs to like a wholesale floral place, and so buying in bulk saves. So we were able to get cases of 12 of these. So I got all the vases in bulk. If you don't belong to something like that, you might have a friend or a relative that is a florist or works in some kind of industry where they would have access to one of these wholesale places, and that could potentially save you a lot of money. Also look on Amazon and look on eBay, because you can buy bulk vases on there too. So, and I was able to find pretty comparable prices on Amazon to where we ended up getting these. So don't be afraid to look on Amazon. They do have a lot of these. Also, friends and family. I know a lot of my friends like mercury glass. I know I had mercury glass in my house, so shop your house. So don't be afraid. Your vases don't have to match. They don't have to be exactly the same. So if you can round up, if you have 8 tables and you can round up 8 vases, go for it. I have a lot of tables. I have almost 30 tables. So I had to kind of hunt down these, but you need some kind of vase. You need a styrofoam ball. These are fake flowers that I'm using, so I don't need this to hold water. So we're going with a regular styrofoam ball. Again, if you can buy in bulk, you will save money. Or alternatively, if you can go to Michael's and use a coupon. So if you don't have too many, if you go like once a day and buy one and use your 50% off coupon, you can save a ton of money. So if you can pre-plan and say, oh, I need 8 of these, I'm going to go once a day for 8 days, you can save money that way too. I'm not above it. No shame in that game. I went with, this is a 4-inch ball, but this is a 6-inch opener. And I went with a smaller, you can see that. I went with a smaller foam ball, and I'll show you why in a second. I didn't want it to sit on the top of the vase. I wanted it to sit in the vase. Okay. The other thing you need is flowers. Okay. This was like my biggest score, and this is the #1 way to save money. If you can find a floral bush, this is what they're called, that has all the colors you like, that you can utilize a lot of the stuff in, that's what you want to look for. So for example, this has the big flowers, big flowers are going to take up a lot of space, which is helpful. That means I need less overall flowers to save money. But it also has these little picks that I like, and I'll be able to use those too. And so really just look at the elements of the bush and see if each of the little pieces are things that you'll actually like. Because if you only like the 1 or 2 big flowers, you're wasting your money. So that's part of it. And by doing this, by getting the bush as opposed to one type of flower, I was able to say, okay, all of these are gonna together make up my centerpiece. Now, here's the other big money saver. I got this at AC Moore, originally, I don't know if you can see that, $19.99. I paid $5. Yeah, I paid $5 because these were a doorbuster. What I did every week for the last like 3 months, I have checked Michael's, I have checked AC Moore to see what their flower sales are. I knew I wanted to wait a little closer to fall so that I could get some more fall neutrals as opposed to summer neutrals. But I would just check every week, and wait until I saw the sale of the flower I wanted. And I went on the other day, I saw these were the doorbuster, $5. So I went, I had 11 centerpieces I needed to make with these. I bought 11 of them, 55 bucks for my flowers. So that was a big money saver. And because I'm going to utilize each of the pieces in here, except for one, I'm not going to use these little guys, and I'll tell you why when I get to it. This was a really good deal for me. All of these flowers are all I needed to make one centerpiece. So if you have a lot of arrangements to make, the best thing I would say is wait for a sale. Okay, don't you can go and buy stuff and play around with it and see what you like, but wait for a sale. The other thing you can do is what I just said with the styrofoam balls. You can do that with the flowers too. If you have one of those 40% or 50% off coupons, go once a day for the length of the sale. And so if this was $19.99 and I had a 50% off coupon, I would have paid $10. So I would have gone once a day for however many days I needed it. You do run the risk there of them not having enough stock. So that's something to think about too. Or round up your mothers and sisters and friends and ask if they'll all come with you one day and they'll each buy one for you. So with the coupon. There's lots of ways to do it, but at any rate, these were a doorbuster, $5. So you always buy more than you need just in case, because if something goes wrong and you can't find more. But I was pumped when I was able to find these. So that was the big money saver. And then finally, a feather. I got these in bulk off Amazon I did like larger feather centerpieces for my round tables. And I had a few left over. So I was able to use these. Again, buying in bulk's the way to go. You can buy one of these at Michael's for like $12, or you can buy, them for like $2 each on Amazon if you get a bulk order. So if you know you're going to use a lot of them, that's the way to go. So bulk ordering, utilizing wholesale pricing if you can, if you have a friend or a family member that can get you those deals, and really just waiting on the sales. That's how you're going to save money and not overspend on your centerpieces. Okay, so you might be tempted to just stick this whole thing in here. And I can't recommend that to you. It's not a good idea. First of all, you'd have to like bend it. But also, I am using fake flowers. I will tell you a little thing about fake flowers. And these are a little different because it's not green leaves. Fake flowers, I know there's differing opinions for weddings, and some people are like super against them. And that's totally fine. And look, honestly, if I thought I could put together 30 centerpieces the week before my wedding while working full-time and a second job and coaching, I would do it, but I can't. That's just not going to happen, and I don't want that kind of stress. So I'm using fake flowers because I can do them today. One of the ways that you can trick people to not realizing they're fake right away is to get rid of the leaves. Leaves give away fake flowers, even if they're, these are colored, so obviously it's going to give it away, but green leaves too. Fake greenery in floral bushes tends to look fake and tends to draw the eye to it. What I would recommend is using the flowers, which is what I'm going to do. If you want to add greenery in, go back and add greenery in. Buy some ferns, palms, whatever kind of leaf you want, and add those in after, because it's just going to look a little bit better. So here's what you got to do. Step one, you're going to take this floral bush and you are going to break it down. You're going to take I did forget to mention this. You do need floral cutters, so not too many other things, but that's one thing you need. You're going to just break off each stem, and they come off pretty easy like that. And then once you break them all off, I'm going to do this in bulk in a batch, so I'm going to step away from it and do it. But once I pull out each stem, I'm going to take the leaf off, and then I'll just pile those up. Okay? And then these, maybe you can use them for another project. So it doesn't take too long. It actually goes pretty quick once you get in your rhythm. But and then you can trim these down later to fit the length and the height that you want. But again, you're just pulling the stem off and then pulling off the leaf. And then what I'm going to do is pile like things. All my flowers in a pile, all the picks, like these little things, in a pile, and all the smaller flowers in a pile. So I'm going to go do that, and I will get back to you. Okay, so I've got all my flowers broken down. It took me like 2 minutes. Really wasn't a long time at all. So what I'm gonna do is take my little foam ball and I'm just gonna drop it into my vase, okay? So that's gonna be what I'm putting the flowers and sticking the flowers into. So let me flip you down a little bit so you can see what I'm actually doing. Okay, so I've divided up my flowers by size, and these are the big ones from the bouquet. So these are gonna be my anchor flowers. These are what I'm gonna use to sort of fill the vase. Now, I know I've told you before, I'm a big fan of the rule of threes. In this particular case, because I have 5 large flowers, which is an odd number, I'm gonna do 4 flowers like this to kind of give the edge of the vase some body, and then 1 on the top. So odd numbers are always visually more appealing. So if you can work in 3s and 5s, that's a little more helpful. But all you're gonna do is come in here, and you might have to adjust the length of the stem depending, but you're just gonna stick this into the foam ball, and I like to get it so that it's sitting on the edge of the vase so that you don't see this green stem when you're looking from the side, okay? Because most people are gonna be eye level with it. Well, not quite eye level, but you know what I'm saying. So I've got 1 there, so I'm just gonna go directly across from it and do the same thing over here, pushing it down. Sometimes you have to trim them a little bit, depending. I think I tried to trim these a little bit low. I've gotten a sense for the size of them. This guy I'm probably gonna have to trim, so let me go to this. So if you do have to trim, it's no big deal. You just take your floral thing, and sometimes you have to come back a little bit on the wire, which I've done. And I like to trim in 1-inch amounts, just because you can always take more off, but you can't add more back on. Okay, so I've got that in there. Get this guy in a little bit more. Here we go. And then I'm going to get this guy in over here. Okay, so I've got my 4 sort of anchor flowers. And then this guy, I'm gonna put, he's a little taller. I'm just gonna spear him right through the center, sticking up straight, and he's gonna give my centerpiece some height. And sometimes you have to adjust it a few times, okay? So I've got my sort of rough outline. Now I'm gonna take my second largest flowers, which in this case are these, and I've got some roses here, and I'm gonna go in between. So I'm gonna fill in those gaps with these kind of, not filler flowers, they're not really tiny, but they're just like a little bit tinier than those anchor flowers. So I like to just come in, and again, sometimes you're gonna have to cut an inch off the bottom of something, and sometimes I like to peel back this plastic part just to give it a little more, you reveal the wire. They're not gonna see this, but this will give you a little more hook into the foam. Okay. And they are wires, so you can move them if you need to. Oops, put them in here. And then you're just kind of adjusting wherever you look like you need flowers. That one's gonna have to come down a little bit, so I'm gonna slice this guy and bring him in like this. Okay. So it's starting to form, so I've got sort of these in, but I still have these gaps, and these gaps are what your filler flowers are for. So things like hydrangea are great filler flower because they kind of fill in a lot of space. You can move the wire so that it kind of goes into the gap for you. Over here, just wherever you see kind of a gap of, basically, you don't want guests being able to look down and see the ball. So here's what I've got so far. So not too bad. I've taken my big flowers to create an anchor. I've filled in with some medium-sized flowers, and then I've taken my filler flowers to get wherever there's an empty space. And then now you're just kind of gonna shape. So I want it to be a little bit more of a dome shape. So you're gonna just pinch the wires where you need to move the flowers as you need to. Move leaves, you can retrim stuff if it's not right. And then when I think I've got my flowers how I want, I'm gonna go in with these picks just for a little drama, a little detail, and kind of the same thing wherever you see like a little gap that would be fun for them to poke out of, you're just gonna go in. And I try again to evenly space these. And again, I've got 4, the bouquet came with 4. This guy needs to be trimmed, he's sticking up too far. But I usually start with 3 and then occasionally I'll add the 4th in if I think it needs it, but usually 3 will suffice. don't be afraid. Everybody thinks like, oh, it's so delicate. It's really not. Pull it back a little bit if it's having trouble going in to through the wire. And then this guy's gonna come right in here. Give a little poke there. Perfect. All right, so then what I like to do is just, you know, I give it a once over from the top to make sure there's no visual space from the top. But then I also like to give it an eye level look. I put it on a table and I get down and I see what it's like from the eye level point of view, because that's how, bring you guys up here, sorry. I like to do like an eye level point of view because that's how people are going to be seeing it when they're sitting. So give it a once around to see, you know, make sure you like the height of it. I like a little height in the center here and have it kind of come down. Make sure there's no big gaps. And then once it looks good, the last piece, I take my feather and I stick it right into the foam in the middle there. And there we go, good to go. And I adjust it as the day goes on. Or sorry, as the day goes on. Not that day, I'm not gonna adjust anything. I adjust it a few times to make sure it's in the right spot. But that's it, that's how you make them. They were very inexpensive for me, very easy. Are people gonna know they're fake? Yes, they are. Do I care? No, I do not. And I didn't use, I just forgot to mention this earlier, I didn't use these because I did feel like these particularly looked fake. I think the other ones, like flowers don't naturally come in that color, so of course people are gonna know they're fake, but I think they all kind of blend together. This I felt like kind of popped out. So I didn't use those, but that was just preference. So that's it. This is how you can make a quick and simple DIY vase. Like I said, I did 11 of them in about an hour. So they came together pretty quick. I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave you some inspiration. Check back next Wednesday for another Wedding Wednesday. Have a good week, guys.